Today, Disney Lucasfilm gave us a surprise first look at the next Star Wars animated series. And no, it's not a successor to The Bad Batch, like a series of Asajj Ventress training Omega as a Jedi or anything like that, but rather a continuation of the anthology format established by last year's Tales of the Jedi. And this time around, it's not stories of light, but of darkness, and it's also not Tales of the Sith. At least, not yet, but Tales of the Empire, featuring two very known characters with connections across the Star Wars saga. These two characters are of course Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee, which is pretty obvious as they're not only highlighted in the trailer itself, but also take center stage in the Tales of the Empire poster. Plus, seeing as there will only be 6 episodes in total, I'm thinking it's maybe safe to say that both Morgan and Barriss get 3 episodes each to tell their own story. Now with Morgan, it looks like we'll be getting her backstory, the reason on why she became such an Empire stan, and how she met Thrawn and all. And while I wasn't clamoring for her story, I am intrigued by it. And hopefully this miniseries will give us an answer on why she pretends to be a Night Sister, or that she is a wannabe Night Sister, you know. I'm still holding out on my theory that she's simply a human that was dropped off or kidnapped and then raised by Night Sisters. And that would explain why she is a human Night Sister and not a Dathomirian Zabrak like all the other Night Sisters on Dathomir. So yeah, it could be decent, but of course what I'm most excited for is instead seeing Barriss's story, as this is a character we've been theorizing and talking about, like, man, since I could even remember. And those theories didn't really even take off until 2015 with the introduction of the 7th sister on Star Wars Rebels, which by then everyone and their mother assumed that was Barriss. Sure, it turned out that was not the case, but still, it only ever made sense that Barriss would become an Inquisitor, right? And yeah, Lucasfilm agrees on that too, since it looks like Barriss does indeed become an Inquisitor. Wow, would you look at that? We see her taken into the program by the 4th sister, and then trained by the Grand Inquisitor. And even in the final scene, which looks like we even see the likes of the Inquisitor from the Tales of the Jedi and even Marok, who is still alive and well, Barriss then comes face to face with Darth Vader, which is ironic as she's the one now serving the guy who got her arrested in the first place. That is, I do wonder if Barriss will even figure out that Vader is Anakin, or if Vader will remember who Barriss is and what his reaction will be. Either way, seeing as this is the first time we've seen Barriss since the Clone Wars, and it's a prequel to Rebels, I'm gonna take a guess that either something happens to Barriss, or she just dies in this miniseries. As I feel we would have seen her by now, whether it be in Rebels, Kenobi, the games, or even the comics. Like, we saw practically every other Inquisitor to date but her. So yeah, something's gotta give here. Either way, I'm down to check it out nonetheless. And I, for the most part, enjoyed Tales of the Jedi, and even though it did have some episodes here and there, it also had some bangers too. So I'm hoping more for the same here, but, you know, more bangers and less Plus, it would be nice if they do make the Empire episodes just a tad longer too. And if so, that alone would already be a win for me, as the really short episode length that we got in Tales of the Jedi was a tad annoying. So yeah, looking forward to May the 4th to find out if this is indeed the case. And of course, whether the wait to finally find out what happened to Barriss after all of these years will be worth it or not. Come on, Dave, don't fail us now.